You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
News Talk 96.5, KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studios. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
It will likely prevent him from being released from jail. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. New evidence released by the Justice Department about the suspect in the second Trump assassination attempt. Right before Ryan Ruth's bond hearing this morning, he's so far only charged with 2 gun crimes.
They found 2 additional license plates, 6 cell phones, and documents, including a handwritten list of dates in August through October of this year, 2024, and venues of where the former president would be.
We've also learned a friend of Ruth's told the FBI he dropped off a box before the attempt that included a letter in case he did not succeed.
Addressed to the world, said, quote, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster," end quote. He also offered thousands of dollars to finish the job.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol outside the federal court in West Palm Beach, where the hearing will be. The attempt was thwarted at a golf course 8 days ago. Today, former President Trump will rally in Pennsylvania after getting a boost in polls in 3 other toss-up states.
Former President Trump has the advantage in critical Sunbelt states in a New York Times Siena College poll. The survey gives the former president a 5-point lead in Arizona, 50-45 over Vice President Kamala Harris. He is favored by smaller margins in both Georgia and North Carolina.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Another poll, though, from NBC gives Harris a 5-point lead nationally. Israel keeps bombarding southern Lebanon with airstrikes, more than 300 of them today, targeting Hezbollah militants and weapons. Now, Hezbollah has been launching rockets across the border, and Israel's urging residents in Lebanese villages
to immediately move out of harm's way for their own safety.
Israeli Defense Forces Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari. Thousands of people in Lebanon have heeded the warnings, causing traffic jams there. America's listening to Fox News.
Jerry Padgett, the second enlisted in the U.S. Navy and deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan until Jerry was catastrophically injured in an improvised explosive device blast. Now, Jerry received a new smart home thanks to our friends at the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Now, the home is in the foundation's Let Us Do Good Village. It's in Florida, and Jerry now lives more independently thanks to the specially adaptive technologies. Commit to $11 a month, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your 9 a.m. code is 734. 734 is your code for 9 a.m. and your chance to win cash with News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Did you know that every year 11 to 1,200 children are experiencing homelessness in Lafayette Parish? The Gifting Grace Project, Acadiana's homeless children's outreach, works to provide and support these children throughout the year. Every donation goes to support these children and provide them with backpacks with school supplies, hygiene products, snacks, and more. Go to giftinggraceproject.com to learn more information or text GGP to 53555 and donate today. Thank you.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% Lists Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hello, welcome Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. Great to have you back with us. It is a Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. Kind of catching my breath today. I mean, I looked up and never looked at the time this morning when I got here and started prepping. And I looked up and they said, Moon, you're on in 30 seconds. I never walked in the studio yet. I was in there doing my usual stuff and eating. No, really, I was working. I just looked up and I thought, oh, my God, it's showtime. Anyway, I'm ready. But I am ready. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. By the way, me and my buddy, actually, I was over there fighting with Chris Reed because he was telling me how hot it was at the LSU game. And it was. Walk, you went to the UL game? It was hot, wasn't it? So what? It ain't been no different now than it was 100 years ago. You see that people, this air conditioning has ruined so many people. I know it was hot. I get it. But, you know, LSU's celebrating 100 years in Tiger Stadium. They used to not play 11 o'clock games. What made Death Valley so great? What made Death Valley so great was nighttime at LSU. Still deadly. Today it's still deadly. I'm talking about to go in there and try to win a football game. And and I know a lot of people, man, it was hot and sun, and I heard these radio, I know they talked to Kelly, hot, like it's never been hot. It's always been hot. TV and the money it's taken to run college football right now is your problem because there's all money now. It's become a professional sport. And it takes more and more and more and more. So if you're going to get paid, I'm just dealing with facts here. If you're going to get paid, and all this money's coming from the network, the SEC, you know I'm a college football fan, love it. If you're going to get paid, you have all this money. Everybody can't play at 7 o'clock, and then they pay you all that money. They got to spread games out, and they start at 11, they play at 2:30. And, folks, this has been going on for a while now, but it wasn't going on as much 30, 40, 50 years ago. Tiger Stadium was known as Death Valley because when you went in there, you normally leave with a loss. Teams still have problems winning in there. But when we talk about the Heat, something's happened, something changed. Yeah, it's changed. It's called money. Money in college football. Got to have 11 o'clock game. I heard Coach Kelly say, man, look, we line up and go play. We ain't got nothing to do with what time they tell us to play. I saw where fans was, just so hot. But we correlate that into, you watch, there'll be a story of the Devil's Advocate. Climate change, changing football. No. Money is changing football. Just like money made up climate change debacle that we're going through now with all this high inflation. It all comes together, folks. You can't take all these big contracts and make all these big money for your school and everybody plays at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. It just doesn't work that way. You took the money, and Coach Kelly said it. He just said, well, we showed up here at 11 o'clock. I mean, Walker Tulane and UL game was on ESPNU, wasn't it? That's part of that package, that money package. It ended up being a real good game, didn't it? And so it's that package. You play at 11 o'clock. And they go, okay. Because what's being determined by LSU and anybody else playing at 11 and 2:30 in the day has always been money from the TV stations. They control this. Everybody wants more and more and more and more money. That's great. But you can't play every game at 7 o'clock. I don't care if they come up with 9,000 more stations to watch it on. Once they tell you, you sign that contract and we sign off on a big contract with TV, they're going to determine when you play. Somebody made a comment, you wait till somebody dies. People have died playing football before in this time of year. They have. Absolutely. Nothing in this world comes without a chance of somebody being hurt or killed. If you get in the car every day, you know what I mean. I was driving Saturday going to the basin to go fishing, and I was on the interstate at 5:30, and I was crossing the Henderson area, the basin area, on the bridge. And I always put my thing on 62 and get in the right lane. Everybody passes me up, but that's okay. I was in the right lane, and all of a sudden I noticed cars are slamming over to the right and hitting brakes and pulling in the right, so I started to slow down. You couldn't see that you got up on two cars that had collided, and nobody needed to stop. And I did something I've never done in my life. I called 911. I've never called 911 in my life. And fortunately, they said, yeah, we've just gotten 3 or 4 calls. Help is on the way. The worst thing you could have done was stop on the right side. There was nowhere to pass. Stop on the left side, cars getting back. If you stopped on the right side, you'd have had to stop way down there. You could have gotten run over. So the best thing to do was to keep on going. And I thought, man, where would you stop? How would you get back? There's nowhere. There's nothing on the side. My first thing was to stop and hit the brakes. They had 400 cars behind me. So anyway, it was what I'm saying is there was a risk of me going fishing, something I enjoy to go do. It was a risk. There's always going to be a risk. But that money is controlling, and anybody who wants to argue with me, bring it on. The money's controlling what time football teams play. It's no hotter than it ever was. Probably Stephen Paul would join us at 10:30. Anyway, what they're doing with judges and things of that nature with climate change. And, of course, they have something down south of us, and they tripping out already, and they don't even know what it's going to be or where it's going to go yet. But they already know where it's going to go now. Let's see if it hits the spot they say. But that's what's happening while you're playing 11 o'clock games and 2:30 games or 2:45 games. It's nothing to do with the weather or what your team is. Are you in the SEC? None of that. All that's played by the big money that universities and football teams and all that say, yeah, we want the big money, okay? You play at 11. You in college football, you play at 11. You play at 2:30. But I never had none of that in the South. Don't fuss at me. I'm telling you why this is done. It's called money. And these networks, 11 o'clock right after game day, there's big-time people watching. 2:30 people watching. People watch all day. Advertisers like that. They spend money. They know they're going to make money with college football. They can't put every college – if they put every college game at 7 o'clock, they'll have to give back 2/3 of the money. And what university, SEC or not, what university going to say, yeah, just take that money back. We don't need it. When right now with the way the sports and college sports is gone, all they need is money. I don't hear anybody talking about the student athlete anymore. Y'all notice that's kind of went by the wayside? Student athletes, like, what was that? What's student athlete? Well, they still have academics. Well, they may have academics they need to meet, academic eligibility they need to meet. I'm not arguing with that. I'm just telling you that that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about they used to say that was a tackle by Jimbo Fisher, number 44, with another great tackle. He played at Covington High School last year. He played at St. Thomas More last year. He played at West Monroe last year. He played at Calvary. But no, he transferred from Alabama. He transferred from UCLA. He transferred. That's what you don't know where these guys are at. It's all become money. You know, used to you went to school and college so you can get a degree so you can go out and make a living, right? Not no more. All you got to do is stay eligible for at least 2 or 3 years and you can go play pro or just make your money now. Don't worry about the pros. If you might not be good enough, at least you're good enough to play college. So Anyway, it's that's why you got the games. It's no hotter than it ever was. I think they're celebrating 100 years of Tiger football, Tiger Stadium or something like that this year. And they used to not play as many games in the heat because you didn't have as many TV stations broadcasting. Back in that day, you had about two channels that had ball games. ESPN came along, and that kind of changed all that. But that's why you played in the game the other day, because I've heard people, well, we should never have to play it. You can't take the money then. The NCAA and the university need to quit taking money from the network and say, we're going to tell y'all when we play. But I'm going to tell y'all, this is all controlled by those networks. They're the ones that have to sell advertisement. They're the ones that got to get ratings. Why do you think you got rankings in football walking before the season even starts? You notice they put Georgia back 1 and Alabama's 4th. Well, and one poll has Georgia 2. One's got, what?
Georgia's 2, Alabama's 4.
No.
Texas is 1.
No, I said Georgia's been moved back to 2, Bama's 4.
You said 1.
No, I meant 2.
Oh.
They moved back to 2, but guess what? This weekend, number 2 against number 4. That's why that stuff's moved like that. It's moved around like that. So when you sit up in Tiger Stadium and you talked about how hot it was, or the UL or ULM, wherever you at, and you play the middle of the day game, remember, you're not there because that's what the university or the football players want. You're there because the networks say, here's when you play, and you will play. I don't want to hear any excuses about it's too hot. I don't want to hear that from anybody. Okay? September is hot in the South. It always has been. It always will be. We'll get a little cool front every now and then, but really September's just hot. It just always has been. I remember, once again, living in South Louisiana, I remember playing barefooted at Christmas. It was so warm. And I was just a little kid, 5 years old. Anyway, I hate hearing people talk about how hot it is when you know dang good and well it's going to be hot. And as far as playing a game, it's money, period. They're told when to play the game. 50 years ago, 40 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, they didn't have all that. It's all about money now. Student athlete, who cares? Let's play ball. Let me take a break. 844-766-6607 is the number. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. I'm just cranking up. Don't go nowhere. I am loaded up today. When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases? Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One Technology with a human touch. Go to Line.one and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.one. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. Your opportunity to be a voice. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. Now, by the way, somebody texted me that said that Arizona has a law that can't start any football game before 6 o'clock in Arizona. So that's why you don't see Arizona playing 11 o'clock during the day. But it's just TV money. Look, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not trying to go the sports way, although I love talking about it. I just kind of curious about people. You know, we get so used to the air conditioning. I've been hot, too. I told you the weather could. I was fishing in it. I fished in it till 3 o'clock in the day. Matter of fact, my brother said, you know, it ain't too bad here today. And we didn't think it was too bad, but I wasn't sitting in the stadium. I was standing up trying to catch a green trout. And I really didn't notice it. A little breeze came up, and I know it's a little tough in a stadium. You know, I'm not sitting with 100,000 people, either 110, whatever it is. Walker says the game here, they played at 11, half of them were gone about half and run out of water or something like that. So I get it. So my buddy called me. He said, Moon, he was at a wedding. And he said an engineer with Mercedes at the Alabama plant was there. Said he told him, well-known among the automakers, that they cannot sell these green cars to customers. Nobody wants that crap. It's being forced on us, and it's too expensive, number one. But number two is you don't force anything in America on people like this. So I kind of get a kick out of it. Then I look up layoffs, GM to let go almost 1,700 workers at a Kansas plant. That added a bunch more people gearing up for the EVs. Didn't work out, so they're going to relook at it in 2025. So a lot of times when they say they're going to relook at something, they really never do. All this green stuff, folks. All these green plants. You know? All this federal money ain't working. They build them up because they were going to add the new Chevrolet Bolt EV. And it didn't work out too good. Firm cut down jobs for over 1,000 salary employees globally this year in August, but this is 1,700 plant jobs, okay, at a Kansas plant. I kind of got a kick out of that because if you're not selling EVs, guess what you're not selling? You're not selling EV batteries. So today when I was going through my reading and studying and looking and calling people, I'll come across it. Louisiana projects to get $292 million federal grant for EV battery components. Excuse me. So here we go. $292 million more federal grant for EV battery components. If you're not selling EV cars, you're not selling EV batteries. The electric vehicles aren't selling. Well, what is a $292 million federal grant coming to Louisiana going to do? Once again, we'll become a state that begs the federal government to send us checks. And all the federal government's got to do is say, hey, we got a $2 billion federal grant for poo-poo sweepers in the road, and I guarantee you if they're electric, we're going to buy them because it's a grant. Ascension Parish Project has been awarded $292 million. Federal grants, always federal grants, never investment from the private sector. Part of a program aimed at boosting domestic production of electric vehicle batteries. If they're not selling electric vehicles, why are we building something for electric vehicle batteries? This whole thing is nutted up to no end, but yet here's companies, two of them in Ascension Parish, Element 25 awarded $166 million for an energy department. This is all under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to launch a plant in Burnside that would be the first Western Hemisphere manufactured high-purity manganese sulfate. Anyway, all that crap that they say, critical component in electric vehicle batteries. But we're not selling electric vehicles, and everybody in the car business knows we're not selling them. Everybody knows. Nobody wants that crap. Nobody wants the go-kart. You want a go-kart, go get your go-kart. All this made-up lies is in everything now. And it's amazing, though. Honeywell received $126 million from the agency to build a facility in Geismar that would produce lithium-type batteries, for these batteries. Hundreds of construction jobs. Folks, not many permanent jobs. But the thing that's sad about this is this is what we're doing. Federal money, federal money, federal money, federal money, federal money. $320 million for Sour Resources graphite processing plant in Vade, $100 million for another fluorochemical plant in St. Gabriel. Federal money, federal money. We did. Because all this stuff is not working. Here we go. We're going to produce it. Just remember I told you first. We'll take a break. Be right back. The team over at Schumacher Homes is dedicated to make sure that custom home building is within reach for everyone. They know the importance of you building that custom home, making sure you can afford it. That's what they do. Hey, how about a free no-obligation design and price meeting today? Go by and visit SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com, and they got a big special. You can lock in at 4.875%, 30-year fixed permanent financing rate when you finance with Schumacher Homes mortgage part of it. And guess what? Schumacher Homes does it all. Schumacher Mortgage, Schumacher Homes, they do it all. Your custom homes at one place. Go sit down. Go see them. And I guarantee you, you're going to love the Schumacher Homes way of doing business. It's all about you at Schumacher Homes. It's all about you. SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. Big special, 4.875, 30-year fixed permanent financing rate. All you got to do is check them out. Schumacher Homes, where you experience their state-of-the-art homes in person. SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. With the summer heat here, let's talk about your AC. You're looking for a reliable, locally owned company that you can trust? Call Adapt Concepts AC and Heating. They have been serving all of Acadiana, the surrounding area, in the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. For your home or business, Adapt Concepts AC and Heating has you covered with certified technicians specializing in everything from residential to large commercial HVAC systems available 24/7. These guys are focused on providing professional quality work and ensuring customer satisfaction every step of the way. You want the professionals? You want the best? This is them. Don't miss this summer special. 0% financing, up to $3,000 off qualifying high-efficiency equipment. Not only that, they will throw in a free 12-year part and labor warranty. That's right, 12 years part and labor. Wow. Don't you want to know more about them? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com.
LA 22.
Hi, I'm Jenna Utchkowitz. Animals protect, comfort, and give us their love. It's time we repaid the favor. American Humane encourages everyone to do 4 simple things. Adopt from a local rescue group or shelter. Help animals in disasters by becoming an American Humane Rescue volunteer. Choose only humanely raised foods. And help endangered creatures by supporting American Humane certified institutions. Visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at AdoptUSKids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% Lists Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Now, y'all all welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. What a day. Great day to be with you. A beautiful Monday. And I know, folks, there's something happening down in the Caribbeans. And here we go. It's called hurricane season for a reason. But we have no idea where that sucker's going to go. But they said it's going to Florida. I hate when they say, oh, we have nothing to worry about. I keep going back to my old buddy CB. And they said Katrina wasn't going to be around New Orleans area, and he had went and relaxing in his camp over at Amy. I wanted to go to the restaurant the day before, the day it was coming in, the night before it came in, eating. And he said, well, it's a shame New Orleans will go get it. He said, what? He had listened to the meteorologist. He couldn't even go back and get his stuff. He couldn't even go back and get his stuff to the second floor. He couldn't do anything because he had listened to the meteorologist 3 days before. Okay, not happening here. Don't listen to none of that crap. I have Stephen Paul in a little while. Visit about that for a few minutes as well. But so it's not a named storm yet. Could be. Might be. Okay, so we deal with it. Whether it hits us or not, we just got to deal with it. Somebody's got to deal with it if it becomes a hurricane. All right, so the last thing on this. So $1 billion Southwest Arkansas commercial lithium project to receive federal funding. I mean, they have made us go broke on the Green New Deal. That's why we can't buy vehicles. They charge these prices on these vehicles that you and me like to buy. We're paying 20-30% more for them, all in the name of making up for the Green New Deal that people ain't buying. So if they're not buying them, how you going to sell batteries to vehicles that people don't buy? And to go around, I know in Louisiana where I've been, and I've traveled from here to Baton Rouge, been in New Orleans, Monroe, Shreveport, Ellick. I've been through all the areas. All these places got lots of vehicles on the lots right now. Arkansas lithium boom is ramping up. $1 billion project to extract and produce commercial lithium. Southwest part of the state set to receive significant federal funding. Everybody's economy is going to be based on that old federal government who, by the way, is going to be pushing $36 trillion in debt. I just read, a friend of mine sent me the deal over in Europe right now about the debt problem they're having. I mean, it's getting serious over there. And, I mean, like, really, really serious. The French PM flags tax hikes on the wealthy, kind of like we're doing here. But this is the big story over there, which is over here, too. The UK's national debt, a terrifying warning. Let me ask you a question. If they got debt problems, and everybody got debt problems, and China's in trouble, who's going to buy debt? Who's going to be the country that says, oh, we'll buy y'all debt because y'all debt's better than somebody else's debt? I mean, this is stupidity. But everybody's getting theirs. Oh, the federal government's getting it. They don't get it to us, Moon. There's somebody else will take it. I'm telling y'all, one day y'all going to go around and say, you know, I wish I'd have listened to the big dummy on the air instead of having an attitude, well, they're going to give out some money. Give me some. U.S. Department of Energy, which probably ought to be crushed. You know what the U.S. Department of Energy was supposed to be developed so we can get off foreign dependency. And guess what? We got there under Trump, and I'll be dang if we've earned that now. We got so many people dependent on the U.S. Department of Energy getting a check from the federal government and passing them out. U.S. Department of Energy in talks with 2 lithium mining companies provided the $225 million toward their joint Southwest Arkansas project. Okay, let's just go back. $225 million. Let's pull that out. Tell them good luck, best of luck, invest. We'll go with it. Nobody would be invested in this. Nobody. Nobody would invest in the green card deal. The banks done got all in this ESGs, and they're a problem too. Oil and gas, same thing. But, you know, the guy on the radio don't know a whole lot. He ain't that bright. I get it. What do I know about that stuff? I know there's fundamentals and finances in my house. I run a business. There's fundamental finances in my business. There's fundamental finances in government spending, too. Well, you can't run a government like a business. Oh, man. Company Standard Lithium and Equinor says the government funding would support the first phase. What happened if they run out of money? People are not going to do this. We're doing things we wouldn't do. We're doing things we shouldn't do. We're doing things that are not, it can't stand on the merit. They said it's important to know that the project has a lifespan of well over 20 years. There's no guarantee. And look, they're now throwing oil and gas under the bus. So these are not like oil and gas wells that may deplete over a 6-year period. These are long-duration, permanent, long-term jobs. I'll take that bet. There's no such thing as a permanent, long-term job. It's not just, I want people to know it's not just Louisiana. Historic grant of $225 million. By the way, they say they're going to break up the dependence on China. That's laughable. We don't get away from China on anything. There's only one man that I know has talked about China and getting off the dependency of China, and his name is Donald Trump. It's just incredible. I keep watching it. I keep watching it going, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? But yet here we are. Every state is doing this now. Every single state, including my good friends in Texas. I get why they get poor states like us in Arkansas, Mississippi, but Texas? And without the federal money, folks, nobody's investing in all this stuff. Nobody. Carbon capture, no investment in this. Carbon capture is probably the worst investment a man can make. There ain't nothing produced in that. We're used to it, oil and gas, we've been using this a long time. I don't care. I can take an air out of the atmosphere and stick it at a mile below the ground, bring you any kind of money. It can't. Yeah, I wouldn't even want to get on this today. I just started reading all these stories popping up everywhere. And the debt we're running up, only to hear friends go, we don't take it, somebody else will. They're not going to probably get it anyway before the day's over. I love when somebody tells me, hey, man, if we don't take it, then somebody else will. Another state will get it. Okay. Then take it. You pay the consequences for taking it, but take it. Take it. Hell, it's just money. It's free. Money grows on trees. Just go out there and grow your money tree. Go out there and pick whatever you need every day and just go to work. Then you hear people go, oh, dang, I can't afford my groceries. I can't afford the insurance. I can't afford to buy a vehicle. Well, just keep letting the government print the money. If this worked, why don't the federal government print $5 million per person, hand it to him, and everybody can eat? The problem with that is who's going to be working if somebody got $5 million in their pocket? Don't you think it'd be just easy? Just go give everybody $5 million. Go give everybody $5 million and watch everybody enjoy life, and we have no more problems. That's what we're doing. That's what we're saying. Just give it. It's fine. What's a billion here, a billion there, in a trillion here, a trillion there? It's just money, and we can print it. And the day comes and everybody goes, oh, dang, I got to go stand in line to eat food. Somebody said, well, that had never happened here. Yeah, it didn't happen here before, did it? So that's my buddy told me, he was older than me. He's smart. He's put his money back, and he's working at 70-something years old. And he goes, my biggest fear ever in my life is one day when you get older, you can't do for yourself like you used to, and all of a sudden you're enjoying your golden years. You got to go get in line to go get food, or you got to fight somebody from your house to protect your family. And everybody's going to know, what happened to the Christian culture? Well, when you get rid of the Christian culture, this is what happens. What happened to their way of doing business? Well, we got away from our way of doing business, not running up debt, protecting our borders. We got away from it. people doing for themselves. When you get away from what you do, capitalism failed. Capitalism ain't failed. Getting away from capitalism is calling failure. Anyway, let's take a break. 844-766-6607. When we get back, it is a Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Outline. We'll be right back. This is Moon Griffon talking about another great Louisiana company, Hudco Roofing. Louisiana has some pretty crazy weather at times. Torrential rains, gusty winds, especially up north, hail, and of course, hurricanes. You got to remember your roof protects everything, you and your family and most of your possessions. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state. Whether you need a repair or a brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there's no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state certified installer of the Fortified Roofing System. And that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. Hudco specializes in residential and commercial roofing systems and coatings. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. So go to HudcoRoofing.com. This is Moon Griffon. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you. With 5 locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. That menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, their new location in Lafayette is now open. Lafayette, you've been clamoring for it, and now they are open on College Saloon. I want to see Superior Grill packed with folks from Acadiana. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and now Acadiana on College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I will see you at Superior Grill.
Everywhere you turn.
About 45,000 units in July and August, according to the CFO. Automakers' main focus: how do we get North America to a better, healthier position? Earlier this year, total inventories amounted to around 1.4 million units at the end of the first half of the first year. The adjusted operation profit fell 40% due to the soft business performance. So I guess the old electric vehicles that are overpriced, overrun, I guess that's not doing the job, is it, folks? And people cutting back. How are we going to have everybody in an electric vehicle if people cutting back? You realize GM and these companies like this would have been bankrupt many, many, many times if they were just left alone. The federal government bails them out. When the federal government bails you out, they tell you what to do. That's what always bothered me. I got Gifford Briggs coming on. We're going to be talking about oil and gas industry. But it always bothered me with some of the oil and gas people that have bought into all this new stuff. But every time somebody talks to me, they always say some of this stuff means being mandated. If we don't buy into it, then we're going to be shut down. And I'm going, why are we not fighting them? If you shut down the chemical plants and oil and gas, people that produce oil and gas, go back to the Stone Ages. I can promise you people don't want to go back to the Stone Ages. I don't think they do. I ask you a question. You know, when you read about this stuff, and I do, I read a lot on it. I wish I'd let it go. I don't know what drives me to keep reading about this stuff. But you know, there are really people. First of all, there's the part that hates America. This Green New Deal is about hating America. And that's the communists and, you know, the Obamas and the Kamala Harris. They just hate this country. They want it brought down. They know energy to produce the food that we need to travel, to go to work every day. The most important industry in this country is the energy industry. By far the most important industry. They know if they shut that down and hurt that, they hurt us. Why would somebody want to do that? I don't know. You'd have to ask them. You realize communists want communism all over this world. That's what they want. They want everybody to be like them. So you're going, why would people like Barack Obama, he's out of his mouth, want to fundamentally reform and transform America? I didn't say that. He said that. So energy is the key. So what do you have to have in this country to live? Energy. The banking part is important, and healthcare. You got to have food. And when I say energy, that's what I'm talking about, food and to get around and to do the things you enjoy doing. So those things need to be relatively competitive, but also in a price range that people can afford them. We can afford that, we good. You notice since Biden and them came in office, how everything is jacked up. Everything. The gas prices have come down. They need gas prices to go way back up. It's an election year, but eventually they're going to skyrocket, them puppies do. And then they want to force you into doing what they want to do. If you compare the combustion engine and gas prices, so much cheaper than electric, it's not even close. But why are we mandating people to buy electric? You know, when Elon Musk came along, and I know he probably got subsidies from the government as well, but when he came along, he developed the Tesla, and he's done quite well in certain areas of society that could afford a mega expensive vehicle. So most of the people that had a Tesla, very wealthy people. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. He put it out there. Nobody mandated you buy a Tesla. This federal government under the Biden-Harris-Obama regime, they want to mandate everything you do. They want to mandate your health costs. They want to mandate what you eat, what you can't eat. They want to mandate what you drive, how many times you can flush your commode. They want to mandate if you can use grills. They want to mandate that you can't use air conditioning one day. You know, all of you people complaining about the LSU game and how hot, the UL game and how hot it was. If it's up to these people, you're not going to have air conditioning to go home to either. They're doing nothing. This EG and all the stuff EVs, they do. This is doing nothing to help mankind be better and go be the best they can be. Now, Walker, the one on 47-second clip was on about prices for Kamala Harris. Listen to this. It's 47 seconds. I'm probably going to play it twice. Listen to the question. It's 1 + 1 is 2. And then listen to Kamala Harris, who could be your next president, not answer the question at all, not even try. Here we go.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries.
How are you going to do that since you drove them up? Folks, listen to the answer. That's not an answer. She doesn't have to answer any questions. I got some news media and another one to follow up sometime during the course of the program where the guy says Kamala Harris shouldn't answer any questions. She don't have to. We got Trump over there. We hate him. We hate his guts, like I tell you. If you learn to hate Trump more than you love America, you'll hate Trump, beat him, and then you're going to see how bad America can become. How can this woman, this is not even trying to answer a question. It's not even trying to answer the question. One more time, Walker, real quick.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries.
Walker, you're 22 years old. You're the future. You know what she said? You have a clue what that woman said? Did she inspire you to go out to be the best you can be? That could be the president. That person right there could be the president, commander-in-chief, mind you. She thinks prices ought to go down. What you going to do, control price? Oh, that's right, you already want to do that. Well, we in trouble. All right, we got to take a break. When we get back, Gifford Briggs will join us. You're listening to The Moon Griffon Show. Hey, folks, if you look...
Time out. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
He's due back in federal court this hour. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The suspect in the second Trump assassination attempt, Ryan Ruth, has a bond hearing on 2 federal gun charges, but he could face a lot more as the Justice Department releases new evidence about the rifle Secret Service spotted at a golf course where the former president was playing, thwarting the attempt 8 days ago.
The rifle was loaded with a total of 11 rounds and had a round in the chamber.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol also reports outside the court in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Additional new details come from a witness interviewed by the FBI who said Ruth had dropped off a box at his house a couple months ago with ammunition, a metal pipe, miscellaneous building materials, 4 cell phones, and various letters.
Now, one of those letters starts with Dear World and states this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and in case of failure offers $150,000 for someone to finish the job. Today, the former president will hold a rally in Pennsylvania. Battleground State Vice President Harris will visit Wednesday, as a New York Times Siena poll gives Trump leads in 3 other toss-up states, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, where the Republican running for governor remains caught up in controversy, prompting Mark Robinson's senior campaign staff to resign.
After a CNN report alleged Robinson left comments on adult websites referring to himself as a black Nazi. Robinson is African-American. He denies making the comments. Robinson is facing North Carolina's Democratic Attorney General Joshua Stein in the race for governor. Some Republicans worry the scandal could affect former President Donald Trump's chances to win the state's electoral votes.
As Fox's Eben Brown, Israel keeps targeting Hezbollah militants with a barrage of airstrikes today in Lebanon, where officials say 274 people have been killed, more than 1,000 injured.
Israel is targeting weapons facilities and launching positions. They've hit 300 Hezbollah sites so far today, and now Israel is warning residents to evacuate.
As Fox's Nate Foy in Tel Aviv. America's listening to Fox News.
Life takes a toll on our bodies, no way around it. Whether it's sitting hours on end at your computer or working a physical job, over time, your body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. Relief Factor. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. And it's 100% drug-free. If the pains that come with living a full life are affecting you, do as so many others have. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. So visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Try it for only $19.95. While we can't stop aging, not yet. We can stop pain. Turn back the clock with
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your code for a chance to win cash is 399. Your 10 a.m. code is 399. Enter that code into the KPEL app now.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. I was waiting for Gifford Briggs, unless I got the date wrong, which is a possibility, by the way. That's since I schedule all my own stuff. Anyway, I just let them know I thought we was expecting him at 10 o'clock. But who knows? Maybe it's tomorrow. I cannot find on my schedule where it's not today. Let's see. Okay. He had something else come up. All right. That's good. A host is always ready, especially when it comes to guests. All right, 844-766-6607, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. Let's see. He says, the Gulf storm is coming to my house. He lives in Florida. I didn't know that already. Gifford Briggs called me and said he's going. I didn't know where that storm's going, Walker. Have they been determined if it was a storm yet? Okay, so he says the storm's going to his house, which I guess they know. I know they know more than I know. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. I don't know how they know where these storms are going already. I'm glad somebody knows that. Can tell us right where that sucker's going because he's not. But you know what, though? He might get it right, Walker, because he's not a meteorologist. So it's a good chance he can get that sucker right. Anyway. All right, 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. All right, so, I'm actually sick of this story already. So former Congressman Charles Boustany was part of a group of Republicans who endorsed Kamala Harris. A great piece. And, hey, Rod, Charles Boustany was always a swamp rat, and he was. He's always been a Washington insider. Always. Always, always, always. Never was a conservative in his whole life. And I knew it was a bad thing that he did when he endorsed Kamala Harris with the rest of these Looney Tune Republicans that really, they're not looking at Harris. They hate Trump so bad. This is the people I'm talking about that will cost us an election. They hate Trump so bad. They want you to hate Trump so bad, they won't even look at Kamala Harris. Now, I knew it was bad when I see Stephanie Grace and the Devil's Advocate write a puff piece on how great Charles Boustany is. They always do that with Republicans that beat up any conservatives out there. I'm gonna quote what they put in this letter that they sent out. Dick and Liz Cheney, George Bush, Mitt Romney, crossover to endorse Kamala Harris. Now, I heard somebody said Bush hadn't really endorsed anybody. But what's wrong with Boustany? Boustany always ran as a conservative. This guy was never a conservative on hardly any issues. But here's what the letter said. We believe that the President of the United States must be principled, serious, steady leader who can advance and defend American security and values, strengthen our alliance, and protect our democracy. Kamala Harris is principled? Walker, pull up that 47-second clip. Serious? Steady? According to Charles Boustany, this is Kamala Harris. We expect to disagree with Kamala Harris on what? By the way, Charles, pro-abortion at any time, pro-sexual, you're a doctor. She wants to remove the sex organs from little boys and little girls. You believe in that? See, we have no border because of her, Mr. Boustany. Charles Boustany has to be a swamp dog, a swamp rat, for him to endorse Kamala Harris. Now, let me ask this question. Walker, let's play it again. Here's Kamala Harris asking about how can we get prices down. I just played them. Play it one more time. This is Kamala Harris.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries.
That's Charles Boustany's choice for President of the United States. Dr. Charles, former Congressman Charles Boustany. That's the same guy 2 years ago when Clay Higgins was running, endorsed Hogan. Nobody knew. He comes in with the most leftist people. Kamala Harris. I wonder when Psycho Bill Cassidy's going to make in his endorsement. I'm just saying. She thinks that Harris is the kind of principled, serious, and steady leader our country needs. There's a person asking Kamala Harris, how do you get our prices down? Everybody across the country is seeing this. Most of us either middle class or poor. Everybody ain't filthy rich, Mr. Boustany, like you. A lobbyist, by the way, in Washington, D.C., lobbying for countries like Turkey. Making mega bucks up there. Part of the crowd, part of the system. Former Congressman Charles Boustany wants us to vote for Kamala Harris. And what did Trump ever do to him? This is a guy that last time he ran got beat so bad he left the state. John Kennedy trounced him. Trounced the man. In the letter, they offered a warning to the American. This is Boustany and his people. Warning to the American people about what former President Trump and the danger a second Trump administration would bring, spoke directly to Republicans, saying any potential concerns about supporting the Democratic Party pale in comparison to Donald Trump demonstrated chaotic, unethical behavior and disregard for Republic time-tested principles of constitutional government. That's what they're doing, Mr. Boustany. That's what the left's doing. You know why he's blinded? He got so many dollar signs in front of his face in Washington, D.C. That's why he's blinded. This is a joke, right, Charles? Boustany's become a joke. He's the laughing stock of Louisiana. They make up stuff on Trump every single day and then publish it and go with it. So he's going to vote for a Marxist. Her daddy was a Marxist. She's a Marxist. She believes in price control, Charles. Is that? He said, well, we're going to disagree with her some. No, you endorse the woman. Whatever she does is on your hands. Oh, my God. Republicans, former military people, all get behind Harris. They're mad at Trump. Michael Hayden is one of the guys he supports with, abject psychopath who helped weaponize the Patriot Act against the United States citizens. It's one of the people on the list with Charles Boustany. One of the lead signers of Mr. Hayden of the letter 51 Intelligent Community spooks lying about Hunter Biden's laptop reporting as Russia disinformation. And once again, your boy at the Hayride says he's not surprised by Boustany. I'm not surprised by Boustany either. Y'all might be surprised. I'm not. Boustany served as the co-chair for the U.S.-China Working Group, co-chair of the U.S.-Japan Congressional Caucus founder, and co-chair of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Caucus. Oh, man. He currently counsels the National Bureau of Asian Research, a life member of Council of Foreign Relations, which, by the way, is a real one-world government. That's Boustany. Boustany kept them dollar signs all in his face, man. Let's see what else he got. He's a counsel on foreign relations. He's a member of the National Committee of U.S.-China Relations. He's president of the Association of U.S. Former Member of Commerce Executive in Residence at the Brookings Institute, co-chair of the Task Force of Future Work in the Developing World for the Center of Strategic and International Studies. He's also a partner of Capital Consent, LLC, a D.C. lobbying firm, which does work as a lot D.C. lobbying firms do with foreign governments. Lobbyist for Turkey until 2021. He is written up as the most pro-Palestinian member of Congress a bit more than a decade ago. And, of course, that was before, Taib and Omar got there. Whole time he was in Congress, Boustany represented D.C. to southwestern Louisiana rather than the opposite. And he was part of the John Boehner swamp before Boehner ouster. I mean, they go on and on about this guy. This guy embarrasses the state of Louisiana now. Boy, what an embarrassment. Boustany don't care about us. He doesn't care about you. Boustany cares about Boustany. Charles Boustany, one of the biggest jokes that ever got elected out of Louisiana. Kamala Harris endorsed. That's Charles Boustany. That's the real Charles Boustany is standing up. Aren't you proud? Take a break. Be right back.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's S-E-A like the ocean, S-A-F-E.com.
This is Moon Griffon. The sun has never raised its rates, but your local energy company sure has. Solar Louisiana can install residential home solar systems with huge battery storage, or they can add batteries to your existing system. If there's an outage, you are sitting pretty with all the electricity you need. Imagine an electric bill so low, you can pay it with pocket change you find in your couch. Solar Louisiana has the experience you need to make the right decision. Online at solarlouisiana.net. Your energy independence company, Solar Louisiana.
If you're looking to get some stuff done in or around the home, check out Stein Home and Yard. They are a Louisiana-based company, a family-owned company, and they have everything you need for work inside or outside of your home. If you've got repairs to do around the house or flower beds to work on to get ready for winter, check out their indoor and outdoor sections at your local Stein Home and Yard. Plus, it's tailgate season. If you need a new grill, check out their selection of pellet smokers, Rectech and Traeger brand, both fantastic brands available right now at Stein's. They are a family-owned business, Louisiana born and raised, committed to being the most customer-focused home improvement retailer and building material supplier, serving homeowners and residential and commercial contractors. Know before you go. Check out steinhome.com and see all the great deals at a local Stein near you. Stein Home and Yard. Check them out, steinhome.com.
Taxes. Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Louisiana-owned Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Call Tony Arpino. I have known him for years. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. Your opportunity to be a voice, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. All right, let's go to Norman out of Posey Bridge. Norman, how you doing?
Moon, I'm doing good, but as usual, I'm curious, and I'm want to make a couple of comments. First of all, as far as Mr. Boutani or Dr. Boustany, whatever, is concerned, my family knew that family. My family knew on the bayou, knew the Lebanese that came to Acadiana, the Boustanys, the Abdallahs, and a few others that have helped the people in the past. Because on that basis, I supported him. All of a sudden, some better people, that would be Higgins and Kennedy, came along, much better people, and I voted, and I'm supporting them. Now, you listed some of the things that he did, and if he could disagree with Harris, I'm going to disagree with him. But my question to you before I hang up, actually I have two. First of all, you listed a whole bunch of jobs that he does. Mm-hmm. Does he get a per diem on any of them jobs?
Well, if they're lobbyists, if they lobbyist jobs, he's getting paid big time money. Big time. He's a big lobbyist, is what he is.
Besides the lobbying business, this council, that council, there might be a per diem involved.
Well, when you start talking about that, and that's going to be a little bit over my head money-wise, but my gut feeling is he ain't in it if he ain't making money. How about that?
Well, that's a good thought.
You realize you can be, look, you can be on a board. Who's that dimwit guy that I fought with on the education board out of Lake Charles? I can't remember his name now. Good. I'm glad I can't. And he's on a board and says he don't make any money from the state, and he just put his foot all up in his rear end. And he does the same thing, but he's on these boards so he can make money on the side. It ain't because you're making money as a board member, you make it on the side. So I'm sure that Boustany's remember that stuff. But look, he came out for Kamala. This is embarrassing, man.
Well,
this is embarrassing.
Says it all, Moon. Says it all. One quick thing. Whenever the climate czar ever comes on,
I got him on at 10:30 too. Coming on after you.
I'm gonna try and listen because here's my question for him. You'll ask him. Why don't they give the coordinates of storms anymore? You got to look really hard to find out where they are. I don't know about you, but I'm at 2092. And I'm a little paranoid. There's a thunderstorm in Africa. I think it's coming to get me. But as long as it ain't anywhere near 3092, I don't worry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I used to be able to, in fact, when my wife taught schools, everyone's watching geography. She taught them coordinates based on, during hurricane season.
I think they still put some of that out there. But Norman, not watching your local weather station, they may not do that. But I think you can go pull up a storm, they give you the coordinates. I might be wrong.
Well, probably if I went to NOAA, they would. But, I've seen it all hurricane season. I saw coordinates one time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And, but that's an opportunity to get people excited. If they don't know where it is, it might be coming to get them.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
I get
anyway,
it. Well, nobody knows where a storm's going to go. I don't think it's been officially given a name or tropical storm yet. Let's see what happens. Maybe it'll blow up. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, Moon, I got two more errands to do. If I work real fast, I'll be listening for Climate Czar, and I might get an answer to my question.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. Appreciate the call. Yeah, it's Boustany did this because he's part of the system that's running America. He don't look at that. He's got too much money to worry about that stuff. And this is what happens in the good old boy network on a national level. It's embarrassing. That's why I wish, I want to know who Cassidy's voting for. I want to know who Garrett Graves is voting for. Maybe look, if they're not saying Trump, then I'm just going to take it they're both voting for Harris. I got a right to believe that's what they're doing. I mean, if Cassidy and Garrett Graves are not going to step up and say they're voting for Trump, and either Trump or Harris is going to be the president of the United States, then which one do they want to be the president of the United States? I don't think that's asking much. Psycho Bill, he was all proud of impeaching President Trump. He's all proud when he runs around and gives out federal money. He's all proud of the Inflation Reduction Act. He's proud of all that money he's going out there giving out. As our senator, don't we need to know who he's voting for? Garrett Graves ain't running again. I still think as a sitting congressman, he ought to say, look, you're supporting Trump's policies or Harris's policies. Because when you vote for the president, that's the policies you support. Shouldn't Cassidy and Garrett Graves tell us who they're voting for? I think they should. They're elected officials. They ought to tell us who they're voting for. They come around bragging about all the money they're passing out. Shouldn't they tell us who they're voting for? Those two haven't said anything. We know that former Congressman Charles Boustany, he's a Harris person. He loves Harris. He thinks Harris is the key. Harris is principled. Harris is serious. Harris is going to protect democracy. Unbelievable. When we get back to climate or Stephen Paul.
If you are a loved one or suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
We help people through their detox with minimal withdrawal symptoms. Even though it's a 10-day treatment, I look at the first 4 or 5 days as the brain restoration piece. And when the brain restoration piece turns on, that's when we have patients go, wow, a light bulb turned on or a switch was turned on. All of a sudden, their prefrontal cortex is working. And their midbrain is also working. They're not craving. They're thinking clearly. They see things clearly. And they have more confidence.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 225-755-9566.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
225-755-9566. 755-9566. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
From the humbling beginning, Dino Hardwoods is striving to provide superior service and quality products for their customers. Hey, I know Charles Altman. He does a great job. If you're looking for lumber, Dino Hardwoods stocks a large selection of domestic and import hardwood lumber and cypress. You ought to see their stuff. Exotic lumber, they got that as well. Trust in Dino Hardwoods when it comes to your exotic lumber needs right now. Molding, plywood, paint, and L products, they are ready for you. They got 3 great locations. The corporate office is right here in Broussard, Louisiana. There's an office in Shreveport on 2801 Valley View Drive and one in Tyler, Texas, 12492 Highway 155 North. Hey, if you're looking for something different and something new and somebody who will service you, it's Dino Hardwoods. I'm telling you, don't forget Dino Hardwoods. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Great locations. They can service you. They can deliver. DinoHardwoods.com. Check out this great Louisiana company.
Hi, I'm Dale Brown, best-selling techno-thriller author. I'm also a mission pilot and squadron commander in the Civil Air Patrol. The members of the Civil Air Patrol are volunteer professionals who serve their communities and their nation every day with emergency services, aerospace education, and cadet programs. We train hard, we fly hard, and we get the job done for America. Join the Civil Air Patrol. Visit www.gocivilairpatrol.com and let's go flying.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. It is a Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. We're joined by my climate czar. I call him that. But his real name is Stephen Parr. He is a meteorologist, been 20-something years as a meteorologist, American Ground Radio, and, of course, with Salem Media, Joe Piscopo show. So he kind of does it all. Stephen, how you doing, bud?
Doing well, Moon. Doing really well.
Well, I've already had my buddy in Florida tell me the hurricane's coming right to him, and I said, it's not a hurricane yet. And how does he know where it's going to hit? You know, the worst thing when I pick up the meteorologist, we ain't got nothing to worry about here. I just say, oh, God, here we go. Get your thoughts on that real quick.
There has been a tremendous amount of hype on this not yet storm.
Correct.
And that bothers me. We at Storm Guides, we published a post last week showing how there's one computer model last week that was showing this thing was going to hit this next week, hit New Orleans as a Cat 5, and another model showing the exact same storm was going to be a tropical depression down in the lower Bay of Campeche, down between the Yucatan Peninsula and the west coast or the east coast of Mexico. So all of this you have to take with a huge grain of salt, especially until the storm actually forms. When the storm actually forms and the way it forms, we get new data in from the storm telling us the actual low pressure, the actual temperature that's sitting in the storm, the actual location of it. Until then, the models are trying to guess, but they don't actually have good information about what the storm actually looks like. The models are usually much, much better with the storm after the storm actually reaches a certain level of strength.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but the thing about it is, I would say there's no story yet. But yet, I thought listen, I understand this. Somebody on Moon, meteorologists getting everybody prepared. And I'm not saying some of them don't. Matter of fact, the one I'm telling you said, we ain't going to get it. It's nothing for us to worry about. I'd rather say, hey, they got this deal working here. We checking it out. But don't worry about it. Go about your own business. We'll let you know later. That's about it. But that's not what a lot of them do. They go, oh, my God. It's like the guy he's a friend of mine who lives in Florida, says, we got a hurricane to get ready for here. And I'm going, how did you know it was where it's going to hit? And first of all, it's not a hurricane yet. Is there a chance that it won't become a hurricane? Can you even say that at this point?
There's certainly a chance that it won't become a hurricane. Remember, there was a storm last week that was supposed to become a hurricane and hit southern Carolina, South Carolina.
I saw that.
And they were calling this potential tropical storm. And they were labeling it, and they put a track on it and everything, and it never became a tropical storm. It was an area of low pressure. It was storms and stuff mixed in, but it was never actually an actual storm, even though every model tried to turn it into at least a tropical storm, if not a hurricane. So, yes, the models do get it wrong. My other complaint on this is that as meteorologists, there's this same thing that journalists sometimes get into, is this urge to be first. I was the first one to tell you about this storm. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, but you were also the first one to tell me about a storm that never happened.
Yeah.
So this is why I say a lot. When I was working in TV news as the chief meteorologist, I was never concerned about whether any other meteorologist cared about my forecast. What I was focused on was I giving the information to the viewer that the viewer needed. Instead of me trying to compete with other meteorologists about being the first, I wanted to be the person that the audience respected and thought was fair and wasn't overly hyping up storms ever, and was never panicked when the storm came around. I wanted to be that calm, trusted voice for the audience member. I don't care what any other meteorologist thinks about my forecast. My forecast is for the people. I think we right now have a situation where we've got some people trying to be first, mm-hmm. and as a result, they're being wrong. And that's a lot worse than being second.
They might be right in the big picture when it's all said and done. But, man, they are making a big deal of it. And maybe it'll be a Cat 5 and it'll slam us. But if it is, then we adjust, make the movement, go back, rebuild, and move over. And
at that point, we'll have an idea if it's going to get to a Cat 5, then, within time. This storm still has not yet formed, and so to be coming straight out and going, Cat 5's coming to Tampa Bay or Cat 5's coming to Tallahassee, Maybe. Yeah, you definitely need to be prepared. You know what? Go ahead and pick up your backyard. Make sure you bring in some lawn furniture out there. Make sure you've got gas for the generator. Those are the types of things that are helpful at this point, because it's not bad. If you go out and you get gas for the generator, that's not a bad thing, right? But I'm not telling you to, and write your will and notify your next of kin right now.
Yeah, but man, some of them, my Lord, I just don't understand. As a matter of fact, I picked it up last night. A buddy of mine texted me and told me, he said, "Well, you fish?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to fish a tournament next week, and it's down in the basin. And it's a big old, it's a pretty good-sized tournament." And he said, "Sure they're going to fish it? That hurricane coming." And I went, "What hurricane what are you talking about?" And then so he sends me a picture, and it's a picture off the media showing a big red thing coming up when I think a little southeast of New Orleans is in the cone. Yeah. And I'm going, I ain't seen that. I even looked at that. I could care less about that right now. And that's when I just got me up there. I said, let me go check this. And when I went to check, and I just said, okay, so we got something they think maybe, might, could be. And I'm supposed to base my whole life on maybe, might, well, maybe, could be. I can't live like that.
Yeah, no, and that's not the message that people should be putting out. The message people need to be putting out is, over the next couple of days, make sure you're paying attention to the weather.
Yeah.
Because there's something that could develop, there's something that could get strong, but right now it's not there yet. We're watching it. When we have better information, we'll make sure we let you know. So just make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, I had a caller early wanted me to ask you. Said he used to when these storms came up many moons ago. No pun intended. They used to give you the coordinates of the storms. I'm not saying they still don't do that, but I think I could be wrong. They probably still do. We don't focus on it as much as we used to, maybe. But did they still give that out as much, or is that something we just don't focus on as much?
The National Hurricane Center still puts that information out. TV's weathermen, sometimes they still do, sometimes they don't. People actually used to get tracking charts. You could print out a tracking chart at home, or you could go, the post office would hand them out or whatever, and you could pick up a tracking chart. And so when the TV meteorologist would come on and say, well, here's the center of it, you could actually write it down on the chart yourself. That was back before the days that we had a lot of computer models. Certainly, we didn't have as good a computer models as we currently do. We also didn't have as good of video graphics. So some of why the TV meteorologists were saying, here's where you can plot it, was because people could easily plot it on a piece of paper at their home, sometimes more easily than a weatherman could actually create a graphic to put on TV about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So the graphic systems have made that a little less common. It's still something the National Weather Service does.
This is more of a funny, I know you've heard of Doppler, and people have got Doppler, and we could pick up storms and all that. And let me tell you what Doppler did. I remember when my son was playing baseball, we were playing, this is a little junior high, and this has happened to me so many times. Well, Doppler said we're getting ready to get a thunder shower through this area. And playing baseball used to, when we played, you showed up at the game. And if it rained out, they told you to go home. Well, I've seen with him, we probably missed 8 or 10 baseball games because of Doppler. You show up, you go into the game, they cancel it because we got a thunderstorm in the area. And you end up getting to the deal, and you find out like you were there early, and you get a message, hey, we probably canceling the game. And you at the field, and there's not a raindrop on the field, and they cancel the game, and it never rained one drop. I missed more games because of Doppler than I did when you show up at the park and say, well, it's too wet today. I'm not cutting Doppler. I mean, Doppler's probably an awesome thing, but I'm telling you, we missed games that never rained on the field. That's a true story, and there's a lot of people out there can verify what I'm saying.
That's pretty interesting. Hold on just a second. I want to look at something real quick, because I think what may be going on is that you may be in what I like to call a Doppler hole. Yeah, so there's the problem. So it's for Lafayette, the nearest Doppler radar stations, what was Fort Polk? Lake Charles, or North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah,
those are the nearest radar stations. So you're looking, 90 miles away from the nearest radar, which means you're in a little bit of a hole. So the radars are actually looking over the tops of the storms, and so there may be some precipitation up in the cloud that's evaporating before it gets down to the surface.
Yeah.
At that distance.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny we missed baseball. All right, let me take a break. When we get back, I do want to ask you, I've been reading about this judicial training in climate science in classes where they teaching judges how to make a judgment on climate change. I want to talk to you and ask you about it because this sounds 1,000% political, but I'll talk to Stephen Parr, my climate czar, when we get back. Nestled in gently rolling hills in North Louisiana is a place that produces the finest Louisiana wines around, Landry Vineyards. This place is phenomenal. Not only are they passionate about growing wine grapes and making Landry Vineyards wine, they also have cottages and RV sites you can rent, tours, and live music on Saturdays and tastings Monday through Saturday. Available in over 650 stores throughout Louisiana, I encourage you to visit and try Landry wine direct from Landry Vineyards. This is another great Louisiana company that has my full support, and they're Louisiana certified. A red blend they labeled Bayoutage, Blackberry Merlot, Cabs, Rosé, Petite Syrah, dry and sweet whites, and many, many other wines. Learn more about their wines and their vineyard online at LandryVineyards.com. This is Moon Griffon. My lovely bride and I love the wines from this great Louisiana company, Landry Vineyards, and so will you. Go visit their beautiful winery and find them in your local grocery store. If they don't have Landry Vineyards wine, ask and ask again. LandryVineyards.com. Woo, good wine right here. With 5 locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. That menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, their new location in Lafayette is now open. Lafayette, you've been clamoring for it, and now they are open on College Saloon. I want to see Superior Grill packed with folks from Acadiana. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and now Acadiana on College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I will see you at Superior Grill.
LA 23.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. If you want to be part of the program, you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. All right, Stephen Parr, climate czar, the Moon Griffon Show, who joins me. Stephen, I've been reading this a lot, how there's judicial training going on. In other words, these judges are going so they can understand more about climate change and how man's doing this. And you got all these cases where people are suing, and does that? My question to you: does that make biased judges when you're dealing with especially with oil and gas and things of that nature?
Moon, that is the entire goal of this. This is called the Climate Judiciary Project. It's a left-wing funded project. And I had not heard of this until you mentioned it, and I went and did some research on it. This is something that Senator Ted Cruz has been looking into. There's reporting on it in Just the News and in Fox. And the left themselves has been reporting on it. So there's an article from AmericanProgress.org, far left group, American Progress. They wrote in October of 2021, "The climate needs a balanced judiciary." Now, I read that headline, and I'm like, absolutely everything needs a a balanced judiciary, right? We don't want a biased judge in any case, in any time, any shape or form, right?
Yeah.
Then their first sentence, "As litigation continues over efforts to address climate change, it is critical that America's federal courts include judges with professional expertise advancing climate protection policies." Now, if you have a judge who has a history of advancing the climate agenda, how is that a balanced judge?
Yep.
You see, what the headline says is not their objective. They don't want a balanced judiciary. They want a biased judiciary. And American Progress is, in this whole article, they bemoan the fact that they don't have enough judges at the appellate level who used to work for the Sierra Club or for Greenpeace. And I'm not making that up. That's the literal quote in the article. The objective here for the left, they know they cannot win a court case if they have to prove that man is responsible for climate change because the science doesn't actually prove it.
Correct.
So instead of trying to prove their cases in court, the left has created this group, the Climate Judiciary Project. And their job is to give judges continuing education credits if they will sit in their class and volunteer to be brainwashed. The left is trying to introduce what would be evidence in a court case before the judge ever gets to the court case.
Yeah, and so that creates the bias for them to think, now I know about this, so now I can make my judgment based on what I've learned in a class, probably taught by somebody in one of these universities, and taught what to believe, like they've done with our young kids.
And a judge should not be making judgments in a court case based on prior knowledge of anything other than the law. Because that's let's say, all right, somebody comes up and says, you know what, Moon Griffon slandered me. Okay, Moon Griffon slandered me. If this judge goes, well, I've got prior knowledge of Moon, and Moon has a radio talk show, and he talks on his show all the time, well, yeah, that seems plausible then that Moon's probably slandering somebody because he just talks all the time. You're not allowed to bring prior knowledge into a court case if you're the judge, because that biases your opinion. You can only rule on what's actually in the case presented in court at the time. This group is trying to circumvent that. They're trying to convince the judges that mankind is responsible, that specifically the oil companies are responsible for global warming before the oil companies have to appear before that judge in a court case. So that when they finally do appear in the court case, the judge goes, oh, I learned about this in the conference. I already have prior knowledge of this. I already know that oil companies are guilty of changing the climate.
You know, I got to give it to the left, and these people are evil. Satanic left. They think of everything. They're going to get our judges. They get our universities. They get young people. They're now getting the oil and gas industry. They're now getting the chemical plants. They're getting everybody to buy. They're getting people to buy. They're building battery companies. We can't sell EVs. These companies are going broke worrying about EVs. They're all walking away from it. We got grants here for $280 million here in Arkansas to build electric vehicle batteries for electric vehicles that we're not buying. You talk about a waste of money, huh?
Well, and again, every time that a car company builds an electric vehicle, they're losing money on the electric vehicle right now. Even when they're charging $85,000 for that electric vehicle, they're losing money on it. The only one that seems to not be losing money every vehicle it sells is Tesla. Now, what that does then is the car companies then have to make that money up some other way, and they're making that money up by jacking up the cost of gasoline-powered engines. So what that does is, even if you aren't buying an electric vehicle, this mandate that everyone is going to have to buy an electric vehicle is making the car you do buy more expensive. Let's say, okay, you know what? I realize I can no longer afford a new car because they used to cost, maybe $27,000. I could have gotten a decent new car.
Yeah.
You can't do that now. I have to spend $37,000. I don't have $37,000. Okay, so let me go buy a used car for $15,000. Nope. The price on used cars goes up, too, because the demand for gasoline-powered used cars is also going up. So we're hurting people who don't want electric vehicles by forcing the companies to make electric vehicles that nobody wants.
Yeah.
This is insane. And now, on top of it, you're prepping the court system to be biased against car companies that make gasoline-powered cars, or biased against oil companies that generate oil and gas, because you've taken the judges that'll be in these court cases, you've put them into a conference, and you've brainwashed those judges saying climate change is real and the science is proven, and they're not presenting the other side. In a court of law, you would get to present the other side. You would get to ask questions. In a training conference, a continuing education conference, no one presents the other side.
Yeah.
We only present one side to the judges. And what's more, here's how you know this is absolute propaganda. The Climate Justice Project will not release the names of the judges who have been to their conferences.
I'll be darned. Yeah,
There's
not surprised.
thousands of judges that have been to these conferences, and the Climate Justice Project won't tell you who they are. That's how you know this isn't fair, it's not right, it's not just.
We're supposed to be a republic because it's about laws. And if you got warped judges on cases like this, you can watch the Supreme Court and federal judges that Biden and Obama and them are putting in. They putting in political judges. They don't give a dang about the law for the most part. I ain't gonna say all of them, but a lot of them. And that's the problem we have. So they've learned from watching the system work that way. We get the judges we want. We can get the case there. We can win.
Right. And judges are not supposed to be subject matter experts on other things other than the law. You don't have to have judges that are doing malpractice cases be former doctors. That's not what you need. What you need is a judge who understands the law as it relates to malpractice, but not someone who is necessarily a doctor themselves.
Yeah.
For that same reason, when it comes to climate, I don't need a climatologist on the bench.
Yep.
What I need is a judge on the bench who understands the law in and out. What is legal? What is not legal? Not somebody who's up there willing to say, what does this political action committee want me to do?
Yeah. Got to go, Stephen.
That's the wrong way around it.
Thank you. You were right on money. Thank you, my brother. We'll do it again.
Thank you.
All right. We got to take a break.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
Dear world, I'm Therese Crowley, Fox News. That's how a would-be assassin addressed his handwritten note just released by the Justice Department in its bid to keep Ryan Ruth locked up at his federal court appearance now in West Palm Beach, Florida. The opening line, "This was an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. I'm sorry I failed." Then he says it's up to you now to finish the job, offering a $150,000 bounty to whoever completes it. Fox's Dana Marie McNichol in West Palm Beach.
Surrounding the day of the attempted assassination, while police searched Ruth's car, they found 2 additional license plates, 6 cell phones. One of the cell phones had a Google search of how to travel from Palm Beach County to Mexico. The agents also found 12 pairs of gloves and documents, including a handwritten list of dates through October of this year, 2024, and venues of where the former president would be. Additional due details come from a witness interviewed by the FBI who said Ruth had dropped off a box at his house a couple months ago with ammunition, miscellaneous building materials, 4 cell phones, and various letters.
But the former president continues on the campaign trail with Secret Service protection similar but not equal to presidential level.
Former President Trump has the advantage in critical Sunbelt states in a New York Times Siena College poll. The survey gives the former president a 5-point lead in Arizona, 50-45 over Vice President Kamala Harris. He is favored by smaller margins in both Georgia and North Carolina. That poll coming a day after an NBC News poll shows momentum nationally for Harris, leading former President Trump 49-44 overall. Harris has seen her favorability in that poll jump 16 points since July, the largest increase for any politician in an NBC News poll since former President George W. Bush's popularity.
America is listening to Fox News.
Life takes a toll on our bodies. No way around it. Whether it's sitting hours on end at your computer or working a physical job, over time, your body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. Relief Factor. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. And it's 100% drug-free. If the pains that come with living a full life are affecting you, do as so many others have. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. So visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Try it for only $19.95. While we can't stop aging, not yet, we can stop pain. Turn back the clock with Relief Factor.
After the waves of exploding Hezbollah tech devices, the Israeli military zeroing in on Hezbollah locations in southern Lebanon, including one that held a cruise missile in a house ready to fire. Fox's Nate Foy in Tel Aviv.
For a fourth straight day, massive airstrikes are happening right now in southern Lebanon, where we are learning, according to the IDF, Hezbollah has fired into northern Israel 35 times. So far today, the IDF has hit 300 Hezbollah positions and counting. The IDF is focusing on Hezbollah launching positions and weapons facilities. Israel is also now putting out messages in Arabic telling residents in southern Lebanon to evacuate. Now, Israel couldn't stop all of Hezbollah's attacks. A direct hit in the north caused massive damage. In total, 5 people are hurt in northern Israel as a result of this morning's strikes.
President Biden, in the waning days of his presidency, with waning hopes to get an Israel-Hamas ceasefire. He's attending his farewell UN General Assembly meeting in New York today.
The Big Apple will become home to some of the world's biggest diplomats for the United Nations General Assembly. One key foreign policy issue will be top of mind as the war in Gaza continues between Israel and Hamas. Last week, the UNGA adopted a Palestinian-drafted resolution demanding Israel end its presence in, quote, Palestinian territory, calling it unlawful. The move received swift condemnation from Israel and a number of leaders. The U.S. called the resolution's text one-sided. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Congressional leaders announced a Sunday deal on a short-term spending bill to fund the federal government at current levels through December 20th, setting up a holiday funding fight. House GOP members were not able to pass the SAVE Act attachment to require proof of citizenship in order to vote. I'm Therese Crowley. This is Fox News.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Here it is, your chance to win cash by entering the code 829. 829 is your code for a chance to win cash with News Talk 96.5 KPEL.